this important meeting of our committee, the Select Committee on Cooperative, Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation. I know that we had a very, very long day today, but as you know, as we are about to retire in Parliament, closing the session, the work is piling up, and it is our responsibility, our collective responsibility as members of Parliament to fast track that. Any more message? For the purpose of this meeting, Mama Ethel, can you unmute? Yes, for the purpose of this meeting, we have two items on the agenda. It means that is the final mandates from the provinces in respect of the Municipal Structures Amendment Bill, to consider the final mandate from our different provinces, as well as the Customary Initiation Bill to also do the same in respect of the two items that are before us. Without wasting any time, can I just check the apologies? Can I note the apologies? Moss, is there any apology that we have received?
Chairperson, in terms of our record, we haven't yet received any apology.
Yes, I'm just going to, in the same spirit, request you to check about two or so members of Parliament of this committee who are not part of the meeting yet, who have not yet logged in. Can you kindly request them to log in so that we facilitate this meeting and they are part of this important meeting? Can you just do that?
Noted, Chair.
As we move the process forward. Honorable members, having said that, as I indicated, you are heartily welcome in this meeting, and as I indicated, we have officers from the National Department who are now going to wrap up the process itself as we finalize the agenda that is before us. Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to start with the first one, which is the consideration of, which is the consideration of the final mandate on the Local Government Municipal Structures Amendment Bill. Can I invite the department to take us clause by clause in terms of the bill itself, and thereafter we'll deal with the final mandates from the provinces. The information that is before us is that all provinces, in respect of the Municipal Structures Amendment Bill, are in favor. There was an outstanding from the Northwest. We have clarified it. They have voted in favor. It means all the provinces have voted in favor. But what we are going to do now is to allow the department to take us through clause by clause in terms of this particular amendments before we take the process forward. Over to you, and officer, I guess it's Mr. Naidu.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members. I had agreed with the Secretariat that Mr. Manela will flight the document that we've prepared.
Okay.
So, Honorable Chair, the document that we've prepared is a highlighting of the D version of the bill, and which points to each of the different changes, revisions, amendments that we've made in relation to the B bill and how we've arrived at the D version of the bill. So if Mr. Manela can flight the document.
Yes, I'm sure he's going to do that. Must fly the document, please.
Okay, so Chairperson, if the Secretariat could move down the screen. The first amendment that we've provided in the D version of the bill is now in the long title. We've included a provision that provides for the transitional arrangements in respect of municipalities with a plenary executive system. This should actually have been done in the version, but it was an oversight at the time that we were revising the bill, Honorable Chairperson. The next provision is a new provision that we've included now, and it is a definition for the term authorized representative. And as discussed at our last engagement, this definition now will provide for a smoother operation when it comes to determining the executive committee in the municipality, but also it provides for a designated person to inform the municipal manager of a vacancy that arises in council. The next definition that we've included in the definitions section of the bill is a definition for code of conduct, and this has been imported from the Municipal Systems Act, from the very definition section in that act into this bill now. The next revision that we've made, and as was agreed in the committee, was the inclusion now of the words by the Electoral Commission. This is to provide certainty in relation to this definition, and you will see that in ensuing provisions, it is also repeated twice. We will come to that in a bit. The next definition that we've included is the definition for the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act. And we've done this for ease of reference when we come to the substantive parts of the bill, more specifically in section 79A. The next revision we've made in the definition section is that in relation to Municipal Public Accounts Committee, we've removed the capitalization and made all of these words small letters. We've also clarified that it does not mean a committee, but it means the committee established in terms of section 79A. Next revision that we've done is in respect of clause 7 on page 4. And members will see that we've corrected the incorrect reference to 7, and we've made it 10 to keep in line with the other provisions dealing with the minimum number of councillors in a municipality. We've then made edits with regards to removing or including the word or and removing a full stop. We've improved the language, Honorable Chairperson and members, to read proper in English. So we've replaced size with the word area to correspond with square kilometers. The next insertion that we've done is the provision code of conduct. This is also a direct import from the Municipal Systems Act, actually section 54 of that act. And as you will see later on at the end of the bill, in the repeal of law section, we actually repeal now section 54 of the provision in the Systems Act because it is now provided for in here. As I've indicated earlier, we've inserted the words by the Electoral Commission for clarity purposes in both these provisions that we see on this page. If we go to the next page, okay, so the first provision that we see here is also a technical improvement. We've included the number 1 in the brackets here for ease of reference in section 27 of the
sitting in the select committee of the National Council of Provinces.
Through you,
Mr.
Chairperson.
Abrams, can you mute?
Hello, who's, please, can you respect this meeting? Can this meeting be respected?
Stuff here.
I ask all the people here who logged in to mute the gadgets, please. This is not okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Naidi, we can proceed. Sorry for that interruption.
Thank you, Chairperson. So after the technical improvement that we've done to that section, we've now deleted in the square brackets there the words. So it improves the reading of that section. So code of conduct and is removed from office because this has been done mostly because in the Systems Act we had 2 codes of conduct, and it was necessary then for the precise code to be referred to in the legislation. By moving it over to the Structures Act now, there is no need to mention Schedule 7. The next provision is alignment by including now the words only an authorized representative. And as I've mentioned in the definition section, it is to ease operations and not cause or to limit the chaos in municipal councils. The next provision highlighted there is an improvement from the B version of the bill. We've also, when you look at the municipal manager comma, removed or replaced the comma or moved the comma to improve the language. The provision that you see on the screen now is also the same rationale for excluding those words in the brackets so that we have ease of reading of the particular section. The next amendment is on page 8, the next page. Which now deals with the amendment of section 43 of the Act, dealing with the composition of executive committees. And these changes, Honorable Chairperson and members, are technical in nature. When we look at 20D and 20E, 21D and 21E, we've now inserted the provisions through an authorized representative, as we had agreed to in the committee at our last engagement. On the next page, and the next 5 changes here are also technical alignments with the principles relating to determination and not election of executive committee members. 25, the provision at the bottom of the screen highlighted, we provide that EXCO members are determined, but that an election must take place of the mayor and or the deputy mayor if it is so permitted in that specific municipal council. The next provision relates also to technical alignment to remove those words in the brackets, so for ease of reading of the particular section. On the next page, we have an important intervention in the establishment now of Municipal Public Accounts Committee. And as indicated at the beginning, we've removed the capitalization of this committee to read with all small letters. The following improvements there align to what I've just mentioned, in that we've now made specific reference or mention to Municipal Public Accounts Committee and not left it as just committee. In 79, 3C and D, We've had improvements in terms of the language. In E specifically, we've included a comma after the word initiative and removed the word but. And you can go up, Secretariat. Yeah, so if you look at 79.5, because we've defined the local government MFMA up front, we've now removed the number of the act and the year of the act. On the next page, 11. On the next page, at the middle of the page, we've replaced the word seats with votes. And this was actually an oversight that was carried through from the B version of the bill. Mr. Manele, if we can jump the next 6 pages and go to page 17, because there's no further revisions that were done in those 6 pages. So on page 17, we have the Code of Conduct, item 11. We're almost there. Yes. So this was also an improvement in the drafting, a very simple movement of the comma. The comma previously was after the word may. We felt it was incorrect, and we've now moved that comma to after the word not. We then go to item 15 of the Code of Conduct on the next page. And we've replaced the word chairperson with the word speaker for consistency, because we make reference to speaker throughout the Code of Conduct. In item 16, 16.4b, as was agreed in the committee, we had now inserted by the MEC at the end of that sentence. In clause 16 on the next page here. In the B version of the bill, we had an incorrect reference to sub-item 6. We've now corrected that, and we've replaced rules of natural justice with promotion of Administrative Justice Act 2000, Act number 3 of 2000. And in clause 37, as I've indicated earlier, we now repeal section 54 of the Systems Act, because we've imported the provision relating to Code of Conduct into this bill. The transitional arrangements we've now provided to deal with when the plenary executive system would come into operation or be obsolete. Then lastly, we have the Act 2018 being changed to 2020. Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, that's the input submission from the department, basically giving effect to the C list as was agreed to at the last engagement with the committee. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naidi, for the submissions, for the presentation that you made in terms of this final mandate from different provinces. And I'm sure members have noted exactly what you placed before them. Any questions, any comments, any interventions from members of Parliament? I guess that everything is okay. I don't see any hand or any indication that members want to make some comments or ask questions. If that is the case, thank you very much, Mr. Naidi, for the briefing. I think once more, this was meticulous, was well presented, and I like how you pick up smaller pieces and smaller refinements in terms of making sure that this legislation, it's okay. They normally say you are pedantic. It means you are detailed. You look at those particular aspects.
Chair.
Honorable Zandamela?
No, thanks, Chair. I just wanted to check what are the financial implications on the bill itself. Thanks.
Yes, he may answer that, but remember, we are going to discuss at some point on Thursday, we are going to discuss with a view of debating and adopting our reports, but it's okay. Can I get a response? Can we get a response on that, Mr. Naidu?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. This matter around financial implications have been raised consistently, especially around now setting a minimum of 10 councillors in municipalities. So in previous instances, we would have had 5 or 7 councillors in a municipality, and by increasing it to 10, there have been, questions around increased remuneration for councillors. But suffice to say, Honorable Chairperson, the increase or the minimum of 10 councillors are mostly in relation to our lower graded municipalities. So it could happen in grade 1 to grade 3 to grade 2 to grade 3 municipalities. But one would know that the financial impact in this instance around the remuneration of councillors is to a large extent subsidized by the National Treasury through the local government equitable share. So a grade 1 municipality, for example, in respect of councillor remuneration, is subsidized to the extent to 90%, for a grade 2, 80%, and a grade 3. So by virtue of that, the councillor remuneration impact has been cushioned by the local government equitable share contribution by the National Treasury. Honorable Chair, that would be my response on the financial implications that we've specifically, found in respect of councillor remuneration. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Naidi. The essence of this, it means there will not be any municipality with less than five wards. It will be 5 minimum upwards. Thank you very much for that. Any other point?
Chair.
Honorable Silegu, I can see you want to come in.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening to all members.
Good evening.
Yeah, Mr. Naidu, thank you very much. I think mine is just a clarity-seeking question. And because I see the bill is still silent in terms of, or the prerogative is still given to councils as to who should chair these MPACs committees. Because we were on oversight, and it is very problematic, when we're in oversight in Kanaland, that the deputy mayor in that particular municipality was also the MPAC chair. So then it gives me problems. How can you be a referee and a player at the same time? So can you just clarify in terms of what the bill says in terms of who should actually chair these MPAC committees? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. A response?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. So this too has been a thorny matter that has been raised consistently in our engagements, be it with the provincial legislatures or even in the portfolio committee and with other stakeholders generally. So there's been a request on multiple fronts that in a council where there is a majority, the chairperson should actually come from the opposition or from a minority party. And, we've indicated that the rules of order or the terms of reference that the council would develop should actually provide for that, because in some councils there is no outright majority, there is no outright opposition, and we would relegate it or leave it to the individual instances that prevail in a specific council, and to allow that council for in their rules of order to provide for that specific matter. And perhaps secondly, I couldn't hear the question properly. There was a break in the transmission, but we also now outlaw any office bearer from being a member of the impact. So mayors, whips, deputy mayors, exco members, etc., are not allowed to be members of impact. I'm just saying that, Honorable Chair, because there was a break when the question was being posed, and I just thought that maybe the question also intimated towards that. Thank you very much.
No, I think the honorable member was making an example that in the said municipality, the deputy mayor is also the chair of MPEC. That's what he was saying, because he was checking whether does the act provide that in case that there is opposition, MPEC chair will come from opposition. I think that was the point. But I think you've covered it to say the act only go as far as saying if you are in the executive, you will not be a chairperson of MPEC, which means whoever is the deputy mayor and the chair of the MPEC, once this law come into effect, it means they will not be entitled to that. Okay, thank you very much. As I indicated, we received the final mandates from all the provinces, and that all of them are in the affirmative. It means they support the bill, but as a matter of procedure, I'll go through to confirm that in the meeting. Go through province per province, starting with the Eastern Cape. Magnita?
Eastern Cape supports, Chair.
Okay, good. Free State?
Free State supports, Chair.
Oh, good. Gauteng? Gauteng? Maybe Mr. Honorable Zamai doesn't want to say anything, but we support the mandate from the province here. Limpopo?
Limpopo supports the bill, Chair.
KwaZulu Natal?
Supports the bill, Chair. Thank you.
Mpumalanga? I see Ethel in, yes, but they support.
Mpumalanga support, Chair. Mpumalanga supports the bill, Chair.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, we've noted that. Northwest supports. Western Cape. Honorable Silek.
Western Cape, Iyaixasa.
Okay, good.
Chair.
Go for a change.
Yes. Can I say that we are now finalizing the report?
Chairperson, I did say we support it.
Yes, you said it. It's fine. Oh, okay.
But you don't mention my name.
Yes, I have, Honorable Mosama. I have.
Chair?
Yes.
What about Northern Cape?
Oh, I apologize. Northern Cape?
Yeah, we support the bill, Chair.
East.
Sorry, it shows as, yeah, it shows as Galaxy S5E.
Okay,
that's why.
as I indicated, we will convene a meeting, a very short meeting, I think on Thursday, to just come and table the report, because now based on this final mandates, we are finalizing the reports that must serve before the House on a matter of urgency, because this law is very, very much important. Thank you very much for that. The second and the last bill is the customary initiation bill. Mr. Maidi, I guess it's you again. Do the same in respect of the second bill, take us through. We've received the mandates from the final mandates from 7 of the 9 provinces. We have not received a mandate from KZN as well as the Western Cape. 7 out of the 9 provinces have submitted, and out of the 7, the Free State 6 is supporting. The Free State doesn't support. I thought perhaps I must just say that. But be that as it may, over to you. Deal with the customary initiation bill, please.
Chairperson, it's Rinaldi Besser here from Traditional Affairs. I will deal with it. Good evening to you, Chairperson, and all members. Thanks, Chair. Can I continue?
Yes,
continue,
continue.
please. Continue, please.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. Let me start by saying that between the Department of Traditional Affairs, the Parliamentary Legal Advisor, and the State Law Advisor, we made sure that the C list contains all the amendments agreed to by the Select Committee. And then we also made sure that all those agreed amendments are in fact reflected correctly in the D version of the bill. And I'll start with what's on screen there, which is the definitions clause. The definition of abuse that is highlighted there is a brand new definition. Honorable members will remember that we removed any possible limitations to this definition as it appeared elsewhere in the text. And then we included the definition here to cover everything, including physical and mental abuse. Then the next one there, Chair, I'll speak to this, to these other amendments. There's a couple of other new ones that we will look at, but just on this one of area of jurisdiction, let me just make a general comment. Members will recall that there's a new definition that we inserted that we will get to later in the pages for the TKLA, the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Act, and that those definitions in this bill that refers to, like for example, that one area of jurisdiction as it appears in the current Framework Act, that we made provision for the reference also to the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Act once it commences, so that there won't be any need to come back to Parliament with amendments. So the area of jurisdiction one is one of those amendments that includes the TKLA. Then on the next page, there's a new definition for emergency services, which refers to services needed as a response to an urgent, impending or recurrent situation for which certain interventions is required. It's exactly as the honourable members agreed to the definition in the previous meetings. Then further down on that same page, there's 2 definitions that relate to the TKLA that we bring in the reference to the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Act. It's a definition for Kingship or Queenship Council and the definition for local house. So what is seen there as highlighted parts are the insertions into the D version. Then, Chair, on the next page, it's a similar kind of amendment that is done to the definition of national house. The same with Principal Traditional Council and Provincial House. Then the next one is a new definition, just a little bit further down on that page. It's a definition for standards for initiation school premises. Honourable members will remember that there was a discussion on initiation school premises standards that were issued by the Department of Health. So we have included that. And then elsewhere in the text, when we get there to the particular clause, members will see that there's a reference to this particular term called standards for initiation school premises. Then follows the definition for TKLA, the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Act. Then the next few ones, the traditional community, traditional council, and traditional leader definitions are all definitions that have been amended to add a reference to the TKLA once it commences. Then, Chair, on page, in clause 2, there's no amendments to clause 2. Or am I now? No, there is. Sorry, there is. In clause 2, in sub 2, paragraph B there, I just highlighted the words all forms of abuse to indicate that this is where the amendment took place. What it used to say in the B version was all forms of physical or mental abuse. So because of the insertion of the definition for abuse, we removed that physical or mental here so that it's all forms of abuse. so to be in line with the definition. Subclause 4 there, this is the one where we split up the existing 4 into a 4A and a 4B. And what is new is paragraph C, which is the one that requires that people involved in initiation at aspects of initiation can only do so after a period of 10 years has lapsed since they graduated from the initiation school. Then in subclause 7, the clause initially stated that there may be no discrimination against a person on the grounds of disability. And based on the recommendations of the committee, we added gender or sexual orientation. Subclause 8 is a brand new subclause. It talks about the confidentiality regarding health status, and it says that the medical certificate must be treated as confidential. However, in paragraph C there, we are also stating that you cannot use that confidentiality as a reason for non-compliance with other provisions of the Act, specifically section 22, 1C to F, or subsection 2 thereof, which is the section requiring medical certificate to be issued and requiring that things like comorbidities, for example, or health issues be made known by the medical practitioner. It must be disclosed. Then there was nothing on clause 3. Then we get to clause 4. Paragraph 1A, subsection 4, 1A there is the 2 members of the National House was changed to 3 members of the National House. Paragraph F there is basically a technical amendment to correct the name of the Department of Women as it was pronounced after the 2019 elections. Paragraph I is new, and that is to include a representative from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. And then we also highlighted the paragraph J, just a number there, because that one used to be I, so it's a renumbering to J. And then in subparagraph or subclause 4, the members will also see that the reference, the cross-reference to 1I has been changed to 1J. In clause 5, this is about the meetings, the first meeting of the National Initiation Oversight Committee, where it has been changed to say that that very first meeting must be chaired by the Minister or by the Director General, then if so directed by the Minister. Then the next amendment, Chair, is to clause, I think it's clause 15. In clause 15, there's 2 amendments. One is a word that's being amended. It's clause 15.1. It's on page 13, Secretariat. You can just go down a little bit more. Yeah, right there. Thank you. The first paragraph there is paragraph E, where the word provisioning was replaced by the word availability. And then the part about accessibility of schools was added as one of the criteria to be taken into account by the provincial initiation coordinating committees when they look at the possibility of registering initiation schools. Then in paragraph G, this is where we included the reference to the standards for initiation school premises, insofar as they are not inconsistent with this act. So when criteria and requirements are developed that the school must comply with, they must take into account, the PICC must take into account those standards for initiation school premises. Then the next amendment is clause 21 on page 18. And it's at the bottom of page 18. It's clause 21, subclause 10. Right, there. This particular amendment, it talks about the fact that the initiation school must take into account the special needs of initiates, for example, those initiates who have disabilities, and they must ensure that those needs are taken care of. And the part that has been added is to say, including the provision of sign language practitioners and braille services where applicable. Then we move to page 19, clause 22.1c. This is the concern that addresses the concern raised by some of the provinces provincial legislatures that the medical practitioner issues a certificate for an initiate who goes to a school in another province. So the amendment that the committee agreed to was that we say that this medical practitioner must be practicing within the province where the relevant school is located. Then, Chair, on page 20, clause 24(2), paragraph A, a little down still, right there. What it used to say was that a male medical practitioner may perform circumcision on any male initiate. And it was pointed out that when this medical practitioner is requested to deal with circumcision, it is for a specific initiator, not just for anyone. So the words on the relevant male initiate has been inserted there in the place of any initiate. That's clause 24. Then we go to clause 28 on page 23, on the top of page 23. This is in paragraph D that honorable members will see there on top. The words or coerced have been inserted so that the clause now says that no child or any other person may be forced or coerced to undergo virginity testing as part of an initiation process. The next one, Chair and honorable members, is clause 33. It's on page 24 at the bottom of page 24. This is an amendment that talks about the counseling that must be provided in the case of the death of initiate. Currently, the B version requires that the remaining initiates must undergo counseling. And what has been inserted is the part that says, and if requested by them, also the parents or the guardians of the deceased initiate must undergo counseling if they so wish and they need it. Then on the next page, on page 25, clause 32, it's two technical amendments. On 32.1 and 32.2, the references to 4.1i, as it used to be, have been changed to 4.1j because of the amendment that was made to clause 4.1. Further down on that page, in clause 33, in line, more or less line 53, there also, this is the offences clause. Paragraph D there used to say the physical or mental abuse of initiates. So we removed the words physical or mental. So it just says the abuse of initiates because it's fully covered by the definition. Then, Chair, the very last one is clause 42, which is the short title. It's on page 29. And that is the number of the act or the year reference to the Custom Initiation Act of 2018 that has been changed to 2020. It's on page 29, right at the bottom. Yeah, there it is on screen. Those are all the amendments that are in the C list as agreed to by the honourable members, as reflected now in the D version, Chair. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bester. Since the beginning of the year, even before the lockdown regulations, we were seized with this bill as well, and we have extensively deliberated on it. And to this point, and thank you very much as well for highlighting those important areas that we must take into consideration, because this bill will for the first time put South Africa on a map in terms of regulating the customary initiation process, so that whatever problems and challenges that are obtained in this sector are addressed quite comprehensively. And thank you very much, Mr. Bester, for such a detailed and carefully identified process as well. Honourable members, over to you. That is the submission. Any questions, comments, or interventions?
Chair.
Honourable Sileku.
Thank you, Chair. Just to reply to your opening remarks before we dealt with this bill, that the Western Cape didn't send anything. And I just spoke to the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Cultural Affairs and Sport in the Western Cape, and there was a glitch in terms of communication. And I have liaised with Fuad, and there has been correspondence sent in terms of the final mandate from the Western Cape on this particular bill. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. It means it is only KZN if the mandate from the Western Cape was received. Yes, it's okay. We know that. Any comments? Any further comments?
From me, Chair, there is.
Okay.
Thank you
Yes.
very much, Chair. Chair, I also concur with your remarks that it's good that South Africa have taken a decision of regulating the customary initiating bill, which is very, very important for some provinces in South Africa, especially in Eastern Cape, where we usually see a number of initiates getting killed because of conditions in which they find themselves in. It will go a very long way in helping them. And there was something that the presenter, Chair, apart from that, he has mentioned under 2. He was talking about the lapse of the time for the initiate surgeons. And he refers to them, he or she. And I was wondering, when it says he or she, does it mean they also recognize women surgeons? I just want to know. There was something like that, and I don't know whether it was close to. If the presenter can recall that, just to clarify me. Do I make sense, Chair?
Yeah, we noted it. Mr. Bester, can you just directly respond to that question?
Yeah, thank you, Chair and Honourable Member. The bill deals with initiation, so it's both male and female initiation, and therefore everywhere in the bill where we refer to persons, it will be he or she.
Okay.
Yeah, so that applies to everybody who's involved, because we do also have female initiation schools, but obviously based on customs. You will find that in a male initiation school, you will not find a female going there or to render any service, and the same with female initiation schools. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
I'm covered. Thanks, Chair.
Chair, Enoch Mteto.
Yes, Honourable Enoch Mteto, over to you.
Chair, initiation is based on different cultures. Is there any model that they've just come up with, which will be say this is a national model that will be guiding the issue of the initiation? Because different province, they do it in their own culture. So I think this is vast. How are they going to control that?
That direct response, please. Mr. Bester.
Thank you, Chair and Honourable Member. The bill, when one reads the whole bill, you will see that the bill is there to regulate initiation schools and to lay down certain norms and standards, but it does not interfere with customs or the customary practices of individual communities. Not at all. There's nothing in the bill that says you must do initiation this way or that way, but there are requirements for the schools that the schools must comply with in terms of their norms and standards. I hope that answers the question, Chair. Thanks.
I think it does, yes.
It does.
Any other question? It does, because it's quite important to respect the culture and the diversity of our cultural differences. It's quite important to respect that and not to restrict communities on how to apply. They must continue to do what they've been doing historically. That is quite important. But that regulation and is going to the extent of setting up a body that regulates it, medical practitioners coming in and all of that. This is quite profound. Any other question?
No.
Yes,
If we
Chairman.
don't, or again.
How do they deal with a situation where in the initiation school, you'll find that your medical doctor and those that have not gone there and the security personnel that have not gone there find that sometimes they are not allowed to get into that field. How are you dealing with that situation?
You don't get extent.
The direct response, please.
Thank you, Chair and Honourable Member. I will also ask the Director General, Mr. Tipofa, maybe to come in. But if one look at the clause that's dealing specifically with medical practitioners, but then also the other clauses that deal with circumcision, honourable members will remember that in previous meetings when this was discussed, the involvement of the medical practitioner is very limited. The medical practitioner is not going to be present the whole time. The medical practitioner will be there for purposes of circumcision in the case of male initiation, where circumcision does form part of the initiation process. And then also the medical practitioner is not necessarily, it must be a person who's at least 40 years old, but the medical practitioner must be invited by the family or by the parents or by the legal or customary guardian or even by the principal of the school. So there can't be a situation where a medical practitioner just shows up on his own and say, I'm here to perform specific practices here. With that, Chair, I hope that responds to the question, but maybe DG Tipofa may want to add.
Maybe I would like to comment even before the DG. Can I, Chair?
Yeah, you're doing quite well. It's okay, Honourable Muta.
Thank you very much. No,
okay.
No, Chair, I want to lash on where the presenter left off, Chair, to say the medical practitioner, over and above being invited by a certain family, it must be a person who also enjoy support of that certain community. Because we know for a fact that those are very sensitive issues that you get a medical practitioner that goes there without him being part of that process before. So that's what I know for a fact, that it would be no in that community. So those things, they need to be handled by communities at that level without taking them into the act. Allow the community, as the presenter have said, they don't want to interfere in cultures and so on. Because if you do that, you'll be interfering, for instance, with the culture of AmaXhosa or Abatembu, who would like to have such medical practitioner to be part of the process itself. Thank you, Chair.
To be exactly, Chair, on my question, it further says that what do you do in an area where there is a female medical practitioner in the area? We know in hospital, when you go to hospital, you don't choose who's going to treat you, whether it's a male doctor or a female doctor. What do you do here in a situation where this is culture, Chair? Women are not allowed in the male circumcision. They are not allowed in certain areas. How did they deal with that part? because we
Okay.
don't want that
It has been
in terms of the law, you'll say, no, look, to us, medical practitioner is a medical practitioner. You just send anybody there, and that can create a lot of problem. I'm sensing that.
Yes, thank you very much. It's quite clear. Can we get specific answers to this particular points?
If I could make an addition.
Once you make an addition.
Honorable Chair, yes, Dipofa here, the DG from Department of Traditional. Yes. No, I just want to add in line with what Honorable Nita and Honorable Mtata is raising and what Dr. Bester has said, that if you look at the provisions of the bill, they don't go as far as determine whether they should be male or female in terms of circumcision when it comes to male circumcision, because that is not the decision of government. That's where culture comes in now. But what the bill talks about is medical practitioners and traditional surgeons. So where traditional surgeons are going to be involved in this process, who qualify in terms of the provisions contained in the bill, and where a medical practitioner should be present for purposes of supervision. If in a particular culture it is allowed that a woman can do that kind of supervision, it is not for government to determine that. So I think there, if a particular community says, well, we don't allow women here, it can't be government saying, no, you are forced to allow women because that's where we try to create the space between having an enabling legislative environment and interfering with the actual cultural practices. So it's not going to be determined by us, and the legislation certainly doesn't prescribe that you will allow women to come into male initiation schools and conduct circumcision practices.
All right. Any word from you, Mr. Bester? You wanted to come in as well?
Yes, Chair. Thank you. Yeah, as DG is saying that, you know, if you go to a hospital, you have no choice. You use the medical practitioner that is there, that's on duty, that's available to do it. But we must also remember that the law states that when it's a male in school, it's only males that may be involved. It can only be a male principal, a traditional surgeon, etc. And then honorable members can also have a look at clause 24.2 that says then, paragraph A, that when this medical practitioner is invited by the parents or the guardians, then they have to invite a male medical practitioner. So that is covered in the case of male initiation, where circumcision forms part of it. And then, of course, if you read the whole bill, where it's clear that only males can be involved in any male initiation practices, while only females can be involved, only female caregivers can be in a female initiation school, etc. Thanks, Chair.
Can I take the last one, Chair, the very last one?
The very last one, Honorable Mtata.
Chair, in terms of the medical practitioner, do they also recognize the traditional practitioners? Because in that school, normally it's not the Western culture that is a medical practitioner that is with having those qualifications have been. Are you also allowing the traditional ones?
Yes, over to you. Quick response. Yes.
Yes, Chairperson, the bill is very clear about that. It recognizes traditional surgeons, but it provides specific requirements under which, because they must be registered as well, but it provides specific circumstances under which traditional surgeons will be conducting the circumcision. So that is certainly dealt with in the bill.
Thank you.
Yeah, they must be registered. Yes. Okay, any other point? This is quite interesting. I think because unlike the municipal structures amendment bill that we're dealing with, a law that was passed in 1998, 22 years old, this is new. It needs to be workshopped, it needs to be publicized. A lot of people need to be taught, and at some point we need to talk about that, how we ensure that education and training for our own people, especially who are affected directly by this, know the game and they know what to do and they know the law, they know how to respect the law and follow it up. And as it were, this will go a long way in terms of solving our problems, especially the deaths, the injuries, and all of that that are sometimes reported in the media. Yes. Any other question? Any other point? As I indicated, I note that there are now 8 provinces which have submitted except KZN. I'm not sure of what could have been the situation, but we'll follow up. And as you are aware, we only need 5 provinces to say yes, and then we move forward. Now, as a matter of procedure, let me go through different provinces and that they confirm their mandates, starting with Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape supports the bill.
Yeah, thank you. Followed by Free State.
Free State votes against the bill, Chair.
Yeah, we received that. Free State votes against the bill. Gauteng, Motsamai, Honorable Motsamai likes me to call him by name. You are aware that your province supports. It's nowhere. We moved in KZN, we passed because we said we have not received information. As I indicated, we'll follow that up. I don't want to tie any member of parliament from KZN to do his or her own things. Limpopo.
Chairperson, Limpopo supports the bill.
Yes. Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga supports the bill, Chairperson.
Yes. Northern Cape.
Northern Cape supports the bill, Chair.
Northwest, it supports the bill. I received that. And the Western Cape.
What I received, Chair, the Western Cape supports.
It supports. Okay, thank you very much.
What?
Thank you very much, honorable members. We have dealt with the bills that are before us. We have reached the final stages. What is left now is for us to deliberate and ultimately decide to adopt the reports of the committee tracing our work since we started this process as such. And thank you very much for that. And yes, we will convene the meeting. I think the meeting will take place on Thursday to deal with this particular matter. On that note, let me once more heartily thank the teams led by the DGs of the departments, the legal teams, Mr. Naidu and Mr. Bester, for throughout this process, shepherding us through, engaging with us, showing us the amendments, allowing us to ask questions, allowing us to engage with the questions, going to the provinces, facilitating with us the engagements with the provinces. I was there and other members were there in their respective provinces. We facilitated those processes. They were quite informative, and thank you for that. Coming back with the negotiating mandate, coming back now with the final mandate, looking at all the aspects of the bills, and we gladly appreciate the kind of work that you did. But I must also thank the legal department from Parliament, which also was seized with these particular matters, engaging, working closely with you outside our frame of work, meeting on your own, engaging, discussing, ensuring that at the end of the day, we receive proper legal advices, we receive proper legal briefing about what we need to do, and throughout engaging on these particular matters, and also thanking the staff in the committee. They worked hard to facilitate this most difficult process. The process to engage with the provinces is not very, very easy. It's very difficult because you're dealing with 9 provinces within a very short space of time, and you need to accomplish that. I want to really as well thank them for their work. As I indicated, we will ensure that we convene an urgent meeting because we want to finalize this process. Urgent meeting, I'm sure, for a very short period of time on Thursday to come and consider the reports. The staff is working on those reports. We'll look at them and then engage with those particular reports. On that note, thank you very much. This is a very, very long day. Thank you very much for attending. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Honorable Nita, I'm going back to the meeting of the NWC with the president.
Hey, thank you, Chairperson.
All right, thank you. Thank you.